Veterans Memorial Park has proved a tough place for the Outlaws to play over the last couple of years, and now tonight they look to change that tune, and they also look to grab their first multi-game win streak of the year as we welcome you in here at Outlaws pregame from Little Falls. Oneonta, let's talk about it yesterday. A doubleheader up at Utica, and final of Game 1 was 6-3. Center fielder of the Blue Sox, R.J. Tomey, had a 2 RBI single in the bottom of the first to drive in Ryder Sawasser and Matt Colella to give them the early jump on Jacob Turner, who was making his first ever start as an Outlaw. Sawasser then turned around, had an RBI single in the bottom of the fifth after a couple of 1-2-3s. Turner kind of got on a roll and locked down following that, and 3-0 Utica was the score. Zach Robinson turned around top of the sixth, had an RBI double, his first RBI hit of the summer. Jameson Bollett scored on a wild pitch that Ted Hone, who, well, he ended up getting the victory, fired into the dirt. But Jack Clark had an RBI single to score Robinson. That tied the game up just after 3-3. But then in the bottom of the sixth, the Blue Sox would get hot yet again. Steven Sousa had an RBI double, scored Connor Jones, and then Matt Colella had 2 RBIs on his single. So the Blue Sox finished that Game 1 with 7 hits. Outlaws had 6. Of course, had the error by Utica, the throwing error. Oneonta left 10 on base to the Blue Sox 5, and the Outlaws, that trend of double-digit strikeouts in a game continued in Game 1 as they finished with 11 to the Blue Sox 7. But let's now look player of the game, Jacob Turner. First ever Outlaw start, first player of the game nod, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, all 3 were charges earned, and he struck out 5. Pretty good start for the Macomb Community College product. He redshirted his freshman year this spring, and now he's going back 2 years of eligibility still for community college ball. So we'll see what he's got in the tank, but he's certainly going to be tested for plenty of more high-adversity innings this summer, and he certainly proved a lot. Coach Keaton and Coach Joe were very thrilled with the start that he put together on the newly turfed Murnane Field yesterday. So Turner, we'll look to see what he can do for this Outlaw squad the rest of the summer. But that's only Game 1. Now let's talk about Game 2. 13-3 was your final score as finally those Outlaw bats showed the promise that everybody has been waiting for. 13 total hits to the Blue Sox 8, and let's run through how that one went down. Top second, Zach Rao, fielder's choice RBI, which scored Dane Richards, and Hugo Conorth had a 6-3 ground out to score Connor Waiting. Outlaws would leave the bases loaded in that half inning, but they played the 2 and take a 2-0 lead. Bottom of the second, Duncan Cullinane has an RBI ground out. Matt Carrera had a throwing error off Jagger Naylor's hard hit ground ball. It kind of came to his left side. He had to go for an awkward spin, and Connor Jones ended up scoring on the play, and 2-2 was the score. Top third, Zach Rao at a bases loaded walk that drove in Nate Bose. 3-2, Outlaws jump back on top. Then Jack Clark starts to put together that Outlaw legacy-type game. Top 4, clears the bases with an RBI triple out towards the right center gap. 6-2, Oneonta jumps on top. Then bottom 4, Utica responds, gets a run, had an Estrada RBI single, scored Duncan Cullinane, 6-3 it would be. And then the Outlaws would control that one the rest of the way. A 7-spot top of the 5th, one of our longer half innings of the year. Jack Clark had an RBI single, Jace Kohler had a walk with the bases loaded, so he gets a ribby. Dane Richards knots in 2 with a single. Connor Waiting knots in 2 with a double. And then Zach Rao closed out the scoring with an RBI single. And again, 13-3 would be the final. Talked about that Carrera error, which was the only one of the game. Oneonta once more left 10 on base to the Blue Sox 7. And Utica struck out 4 times, and the Outlaws no strikeouts in that one in Game 2 yesterday in the 7-inning affair. So very remarkable showing by the Outlaw offense, and they look to keep that going here in Little Falls tonight. And speaking of keeping it going, let's hope that player of Game 2 last night, Jack Clark, could stay red hot. 4 for 5, 5 ribbies. He had 3 singles and a triple with a stolen base last night. Now, before we get any further, we're going to get into introductions and the anthem here in Little Falls. Let's go down to our pregame player interview of the day, and we'll hear from Outlaw infielder, outfielder Jace Kohler about all things around this team to this point and his baseball journey to get him where he's at today. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jace Kohler. Colby Smith joined here today by Outlaws infielder, outfielder Jace Kohler. Jace, the bat's finally starting to come alive here these last couple of games. What's been working?
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. But no, the bats. I feel like we're seeing more pitching more often. The last couple of days we've had a long streak of games, so the guys are finally starting to see more pitches and get together some more quality at bats. The guys are seeing it well, and we're hitting line drives. Nothing too crazy. Not getting without ourselves, so that's good.
You mentioned that long streak of games that you're on. How tough is that to deal with, and how do you think you've really been, clicking with it?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, summer ball is a different breed of baseball. It's a grind for sure. Trying to stay in the weight room, 5 to 6 days a week, with as well as playing baseball 5 to 6 days a week. So it's definitely something that I got to get used to and something that is different. But so far it's been going well. Got to keep care of my take care of my body. Eating right, and just kind of going with the flow. So I'm liking it so far.
Besides that increased workload of 5 to 6 days a week, like you said, what other adjustments have you had to make to your routine here for summer ball?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it's kind of just figuring out what works for yourself. Every player, his body feels differently every day. So kind of just, adapting to a new environment, seeing what I can do here that, helps me feel better in this moment. And then at another time down the road, I might have to do something different. But here, kind of just, been making sure I've been, working on quality sleep and taking care of my body. And other main thing is just eating right. I'm trying to eat a lot better recently. And, I think it's helping me improve my play and just my physical and mental part of my body. So throughout these, long streak of games.
Well, you mentioned the environment. I mean, coming up here to New York, how different has it been considering you've been playing ball down south most of your life?
Yeah, no, I mean, up north, I've only been here only a couple times, so it's definitely something new to me. The weather is definitely a little bit nicer. Today's not that day, just it's nice and hot today, but no, the weather is definitely something that I would call positive. Going back home in Florida, it's really really hot and humid right now, so that's something nice, and I look forward to every day. Just to play baseball, and good weather when you're playing baseball, you can't beat it. So.
Well, and specifically here in Oneonta, what have you enjoyed about your time so far?
Yeah, I mean, just meeting a bunch of new guys, the camaraderie of the team. So far, summer ball is a cool experience just to enjoy the company of other people, and kind of learn from the coaches and the players, as well as just learn about yourself. So I mean, Oneonta is a good spot, for to come learn and to come get a lot of reps, and I appreciate it.
From your eyes, tell me about this team dynamic and how things have come together as time's gone on.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first couple weeks, kind of we're just kind of finding the groove, finding what we had to do to win, what we needed to do to win, and then more recently we're kind of just going out there and just giving it our all. We know what we have, and even if that's good enough or it's not, we're going out there and we're playing hard, and I appreciate watching that, and playing hard myself. Watching other guys play hard with me is a treat when you're trying to go out there and win some games.
When you had that streak at the beginning where you all were starting to try to put those pieces together and you were losing a lot of close games, how frustrating was that for you?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, nobody likes losing games. It's something that everybody has to go through, and I mean, I've always looked at a loss as something you can learn from. So I mean, I hope these guys on the team as well are trying to learn from each loss, and ways to just get better and ways to improve, just to better the success of our team, and even their individual paths down the road.
You mentioned losses being a lesson. What lessons besides just those has the game of baseball taught you as a whole?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a big follower of Jesus, and everything happens for a reason. He has a plan, for our lives, and baseball's just taught me, to kind of sit back and let it be up to him. Baseball's such a game of failure, and it's not a game that you can get ahead of yourself in, and if you get too frustrated, get too high, get too low, it's gonna take you down a path that you don't really want to be on. So I mean, kind of trying to stay even keel, and just work hard, trust in your work, and that's something that I try to live by. So.
Well, in terms of your faith background, how do you, off the field, try to translate that into your actions on the field too?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I try to, as a teammate, as a player, as a son, as a friend, I kind of just, try to be myself. I've been gifted with some skills that, I don't try to take for granted, and I just kind of try to go use them to glorify the Lord. I'm here for however long He wants me for, and I try to do my best to just go out there and give it my all. I mean, like I said, I've been surrounded by a great group of guys and a great, coaching staff throughout my whole life that have just taught me to be the man I am, from just coaches, family, and friends all pouring into me. So I'm super appreciative of that, and I'm just going to try to go out there and just reflect that.
Well, now tell me about your baseball background growing up. What really got you into it? What ultimately led you to where you are now?
Yeah. I mean, as far as I can remember, I just remember, hitting wiffle balls off the tee, in my front yard, into the street. From there, kind of just went to t-ball and, travel ball. I was on some good travel ball teams growing up, and then went to a good high school. So, from there, it kind of just, the skills went with me, fortunately. I kind of just, tried to work hard and, like I said, not let those skills taken for granted. So, again, just, play baseball basically my whole life. And, this is what I love, and I'm thankful to do it. And I'm thankful that I get the ability to do it. So I just kind of go out there and try to, give it my all.
What have you enjoyed so far about your experience at High Point?
Yeah, no, High Point's a great spot. It's a spot for me, that I knew the coaches, were going to be there for you. I knew that they were going to love and appreciate just, the person you are. And, like I said, it's somewhere that I knew I could grow and get better. That's was the big thing in the recruiting process for me, not having to go somewhere where, I felt like out of the loop or not in, the main gist of things. I felt, at home there, and, in a spot where, like I said, I could prove myself, and a spot where I could learn and I could get better. And like I said, throughout my first year, I've definitely felt those, and, I'm thankful for the opportunity.
Now, Jace, moving forward for this Outlaw team, you go to Mohawk Valley tonight, then have a few more games coming up before another off day this week. What do you think y'all just have to keep doing and keep working on to keep finding success?
Yeah, like I said, the pitching's been pretty good so far, especially the last couple games. So, like I said, I feel like if we, can, keep pitching well and keep playing good defense behind our pitchers, I can give us some more momentum going up to the at-bats. And like I said, baseball is baseball. It's hard enough, but, the big hits when we need them in, big situations is what's going to win us ball games. And I think over time and the next couple games, I think, our team's shown that lately, and I think we're gonna do it these next couple games. So,
Jace, thank you so much for your time. Good luck today.
Thank you.
So that was some pretty good timing, ladies and gentlemen. That was Outlaws infielder, outfielder Jace Kohler, primarily a left side infielder, shortstop third, but also playing a little bit of outfield and getting some reps in out there for head coach Keaton Marth this summer. And this team has struggled in terms of having some healthy bodies. They've dealt with some injuries, and most notably Kazu Hara remaining out of the lineup here this evening, as we'll quickly go to flashing our starting lineup here on the screen for you. Leading off at second this evening, going to be Brendan Connolly. Jack Clark, the right fielder, hits second. Nathan Bowes, the extra hitter, going to be in the 3 spot. Jace Kohler, who's pictured to the right on your screen here, going to be in left. Lenny Montesano going to be making his Outlaw debut at DH. Dane Richards is in center field. Connor Waitings at first. Zach Porter does the catching. Thomas Woodridge is at third. And Matt Carrera, the 10-hole hitter, is at short. Logan Schull going to get the start here yet again, his second of 3 that have come away from Damaski Field. And, on the hill, Outlaws are going to be seeing a very tough arm out of Felician in Andrew Gendy, who has been really sharp to start the season. He's had 2 appearances, one that was in an exhibition game against the Albany Athletics, and one that counted for the Bullets in the back end of a doubleheader against Boonville last week. The really weird part that you got to look at in terms of those 2 starts, both of them ended in 1-0 scores in terms of the actual ball game itself. How weird is that? Very rare that you see 2 scores for a starter in back-to-back games, unless, of course, you're Paul Skeens with the Pittsburgh Pirates and get no run support. You're almost always losing by very similar scores, but that's besides the point. Andrew Gendy, his last start Against the Boonville Lumberjats, as we said, it was the back end of the doubleheader. Went 4 innings, gave up 2 hits, no runs, no earned runs, and he walked 1 and struck out 3. At Felician, he had a pretty inflated ERA this spring, but that's something that trying to change. You know, you come here as freshman going into your sophomore year, looking to build on what you've done and hope to grow your skill set and just kind of show off what you can really do. Go back, contend for some more innings in terms of a pitcher standpoint of things. And Jendi, if he keeps up like the way he started this summer, he'll definitely be contending for some more innings when he gets back down there to Jersey. But again, it'll be Brendan Connolly to start things off here for the Outlaws this evening. Connolly had game 1 off yesterday in that doubleheader against the Blue Sox, but in game 2 went 1 for 2, a couple of runs scored, an RBI, and 3 walks. Small crowd here in Little Falls as we get going 5 minutes late, and that one right down the pipe for a called strike 1. Connolly stands 5'10", 180, and as I've said so many times this summer, he's looking for a spot for new school next year as his 0-1. Shot straight on backwards to the screen behind the plate, and the count quickly to 0-2. And he is a great ball player and even better guy off the field. Has added so much to this program here in Oneonta these last 2 summers, and can't emphasize that enough. Jendi quick work in here for the DiamondDawgs. 0-2 pitch, and Connolly did indeed offer. He'll be retired for the first out in this one. Was a check swing, and he came just over the halfway point around. So he'll take the walk back to the dugout, and Jendi gets his first strikeout of the game, and we will go to Jack Clark with 1 away. Jack Clark played both games yesterday, and it's been very rare. He's had an off day. Is that one out towards right? Going to drop just foul. It curved just to the right of that white painted line out there. Ian Olsliger went rushing over, hoping he could find a play on it. And, well, now Clark will walk on back. Take a slow walk because it's very hot here this evening in Little Falls. Yesterday was hot for that doubleheader in Utica, but it seems like it's creeped up just a couple more degrees here today. Made it even hotter that we were playing on turf yesterday at Murnane. Is the 0-1. Called strike on the upper outside. And Jack Clark quickly in an 0-2 count. Andrew Jendi showing that he's going to be pumping strikes in there, and Clark lays off this one. Looked to the field, and he did hold up. And nor did it clip the zone, so it goes to 1-2. Game 1 yesterday, he was 2 for 4 with an RBI and a strikeout. And then game 2, ended up finishing 4 for 5 with 5 RBIs and 2 runs. As we called it on social media last night, an Outlaw legacy type game for sure. 2-2's your count with 1 down here, top 1. And Jendi got a sail on head high. And Clark's let the count run full. Just a second, we'll run you through the Mohawk Valley DiamondDawg defense as Clark, a bouncer right side, scooped and taken to the bag by Justin Hurd. And Jack Clark will be retired, and there's 2 down. So that, if you're scoring along at home, will go in as a 3 unassisted. And quickly going to go to Nathan Bowes. But behind the plate for Jendi, it's Kuzak here this evening. First to third on the infield, the DiamondDawgs have Hurd, Stoney at second, Ramsey at short, and Jones mans third. In the outfield, left to right, it's Calabrese, Hart, and Olslager here for veteran head coach Steve Luby. Jendi going to drop one down and away to Bowes, and the count quickly 1-0. Bowes yesterday just played in game 2 as he had game 1 off, and he'll whack one off foul over the seats on the first base line. So the count's to 1-1. Sancito 205, and in game 2 yesterday, his final line reads 2 for 4 with a run, pair of RBIs, and a walk. 1-1 offering, and he goes swinging for the high heater. And so the count going to go to a ball and 2 strikes. Jendi trying to get himself out of this top half and pitch a 1-2-3. Here's the pitch. And Bose straight on back yet again, so we'll keep going. Nathan Bose and Jet Clark and Jace Kohler's place has been the place to be as of late at night. Got nice AC in their window and certainly has come in handy. A lot of the Outlaws have been going and hanging out at their place. And all three of them have been integral team guys for this group. And the early going is Bose will be sent down swinging. Went reaching for one up and away, and he can't bomb it the way he wants. And so Jendi going to work a 1-2-3, top half of the first. We go to the bottom half, and the Dawgs come to bat for the first time. It's an 0-0 score here in Little Falls. Back here to Little Falls, bottom half of inning one, and this one is John Calabrese is going to be bombed down low and in by Logan Schul, and we're right back at it. Mohawk Valley now 8-6 after a victory the other night, and that one going to be grazed on in there for ball two. Was an 8-7 final against the Utica Blue Sox. It was actually a walk-off double by Calabrese that ended it as this one deep in the air, left side. Jace Kohler back and makes the snag in front of the fence. Had to go lunging back a little bit, ultimately comes down with it, and there's going to be one away.
From George Washington University, Tyler Jones.
So now Tyler Jones is going to come up with one out. And that one offered up for a called strike. Logan Schul's making his third start for the Outlaws here tonight. Mentioned his last one against Glens Falls, and he has gone just 2 innings in each of his first 2 starts, still trying to build his arm up as this one straight up the middle, just past the glove of Connolly in the center. So that will be a 1-out single. As Tyler Jones able to turn on one that got hung over the plate. He just drives it. So, now Joey Calabrese, will come up with one on and one away. This Mohawk Valley team still trying to get into a little bit of a groove, and they have been better at home than they have been on the road. Have gone 5-3 in the confines of Veterans Memorial Park, and have one game that was suspended that they have to finish up later as well. We're playing the Saugerties Stallions in that game. Saugerties was leading 3-2, got suspended middle of the 9th. And when Mohawk Valley does get to start that one back up this coming Sunday, they will have part of their lineup up 3, 4, or 5, so they'll have a good shot to try to get something going there. Calabretti put it to his right foot, and so counts 0-2. Love to see the attack already from Logan Schul as he's just going in there trying to drive that straight zone. And a lot of that starts with Zach Porter. Said it time and time again how helpful these Outlaw catchers have been, kind of getting things going and start to lock down, getting a rhythm, because it all starts from the back out. This one skyrocketed left center, back on over to get it, Dane Richards, and he makes the grab for the out.
Now batting for your Dogs.
So,
30 from Fairfield
2 balls that have been driven to the outfield, neither super hard hit, and Tyler Jones, a single sandwiched in between for now J.P. Kuzik to come swing the stick next. Mohawk Valley, it was huge for this team to get that victory on Saturday. For that, I mean, well, they had lost to the Glens Falls Dragons, who are playing a doubleheader tonight against Saugerties, out to right side, and that one going to fall in front of Jack Clark. Big turnaround, second, and back getting in there. Tyler Jones out with some aggressive base running. Took that turn like he was going to try to snag an extra bag out of it, but he does hold up at second. So J.P. Kuzak, first pitch and a first pitch single. And now 2 hits off Logan Schul, who had not a lot of hit in each of his first 2 starts. It allowed a handful of base runners as he allowed 3 walks at Saugerties and then another 2 against Glens Falls. But these the first 2 hits. Hasn't surrendered a run yet, and we don't want to play jinx as Hart taking a strike, and it counts to 0-1. Caden Hart playing center fielder for the DiamondDawgs tonight, drawn back in after an off night the other night. Still hitting just 171, so he's trying to get his bat alive. Count to 1-1. Hasn't had a hit in each of his last 2 games played. He's 7 for 41 overall, 2 extra base hits, a double, and a homer with 7 RBIs. And the big number you got to look at, 6 walks to 18 strikeouts. 1-1. Slow tapper left side. Woodridge charging on the run. Bombs it over to Waiting, and they can't get it in time. Waiting made that stretch look like it was pretty close. I mean, Woodridge just kind of charged that one and leaped it off, hoping that could get it there in time. But it'll be an infield single, and the Dogs now have 3 hits in this first inning, and they don't want to leave the bases loaded. John Ramsey up. He takes ball 1 just above his shoelaces. And this Mohawk Valley team overall hitting .205, which is dead last in the PGCBL, though they've still been finding ways to win ball games. They've scored 57 runs across their 14 games, and talking about watts to strikeouts, they've got 90 watts to their 133 team Ks. 1-1. Tasered right on bat foul, and the count's to 1-2. So now Schul needs just 1 more strike to get out of this inning. I mean, Outlaw pitching, you can't take anything away from the performance that was put on yesterday, and Utica only needed 2 arms to finish off game 1, just 3 for game 2, as that one down and outside, and it counts to 2-2. Turner went to 5 for Colin Carver, came in relief of him in game 1. Game 2, it was Dangler got the start, and Dugan, and then after Dugan, Dan Payton lopped it down. This one bounces away from Porter behind the plate. He's able to spring up quick and get to it, so the count goes full. And that was just huge to only need to go 5 arms to get through the 14 innings yesterday. Puts this team in a pretty good position pitching-wise, with still this one and 4 more games to come Tuesday to Friday before finally another off day Saturday. Every base runner was moving on the full count, and Ramsey put it off foul, so we'll make another go at it. Tomorrow, this Outlaw team going to be right back at Glens Falls where they were on Thursday. Wednesday, they'll host this Mohawk Valley team on Pirates, Princesses, and Villains night at Damaski Field. For Thursday, going to Boonville, and then Friday hosting three-time defending champs on Potato Night. That one misses high, ball 4, and that walks in the first run. So Logan Schul just drifted that one up a bit too far, and so the DiamondDawgs going to get out to a 1-0 lead. So that will be an RBI going to John Ramsey, as he'll now be up to 5 of those on the year. First pitch, hack in right side, waiting, takes it, rushes to the bag and beats it out. So Ian Olslager, one pitch and an out, but the DiamondDawgs do cash in first here in this first inning. We go to top 2 here in Little Falls, and it is a 1-0 Mohawk Valley score. Top of the second back here, Veterans Memorial Park, and Jace Kohler, who you heard from pregame, going to start things off here for the Laws. It went down 1-2-3 against Adam Gendy in the first inning, and Kohler immediately going to shoot that one a mile high. Drops in the bleachers, first base line, until the count's going to roll to 0-1. On that first base side, DiamondDawgs have their dugout with their bullpen in right field, and Outlaws have this third base side with the bullpen down to my left here. Jace Kohler watches one drop low, and so the count runs to 1-1. It was nice to hear from Kohler about his experiences growing up playing ball and how different the experience and atmosphere has been playing summer ball in New York, because to this point, I mean, he grew up in Florida, played his ball in Florida, and then High Point is just North Carolina, so sure, you bounce around a little bit with your road games at the college level, but majority of his baseball has been played in the South, so certainly a lot different. Go at it up here as another one higher than that light post over there and caught by Justin Hurd. He reaches up and pulls that one out of the very aggressive beaming sun. And there's one out for Lenny Montesano, who's making his Outlaw debut. Lenny Montesano was looking for a place to play ball here this summer, and luckily joining this Outlaw squad, and he's got 34 on his back, all white batting helmet as he swings right through the first one for 0-1. Looked pretty good in batting practice, was getting some good rips on balls when we first got up here about an hour and a half ago now. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. And Montesano certainly is trying to get his timing on top of the ball. It's been a little bit since he's seen live pitching, with East Tennessee State University's season finishing in the early part of May. 0-2. Sails high and the count to 1-2. Kind of bounced around a little bit for his college ball. Spent time 3 different schools, and he's still looking for one more. Got 1 year eligibility left, and he's in the portal right now. 1-2. Another elevator pitch, and the count rolls 2 balls, 2 strikes. He does have experience playing summer ball as well. 2 years ago, he spent time in the South Florida Collegiate League with the Palm Beach Extreme, and last year he spent time in the COPL league I'm not familiar with, playing for Macon, so down in Georgia. And last summer, for whatever reason, only appeared in 3 games. Didn't get the opportunity to talk to him too much today as we got on the bus and came up here to Little Falls. But hopefully we'll get to the bottom of that. But regardless, his numbers from wherever he's gone have been pretty dang good. 2 years ago, Jackson State, he hit .336. And then this spring at East Tennessee State in 37 games, 34 of those starts, he hit .325. 2-2. And Montesano blasts one out right center. That one drops for a base hit. First at bat as an Outlaw, and a first hit. Welcome to the Orange and Black, Montesano.
Now batting for the Outlaws, the center fielder,
So
number
Lenny,
1,
in his Outlaw debut, comes up with a big one.
Richards.
And now Dane Richards is going to let stay sharp here tonight after a good couple of games yesterday in Utica. Montesano will take a short lead off first. And Jendi went fastball as Richards able to shoot it off foul. His final lines yesterday as he played in both games, right field game 1 and then center in game 2. 0 for 2 in game 1 with a couple of walks and a strikeout. And then in game 2, 1 for 2, 2 runs scored and 2 walks. 0-1. That one right side in foul territory up the line. So the count drops to 0-2. Outlaws going to continue putting bat on ball and hopefully keep this game close in the early goings. They've had some games against the DiamondDawgs here in recent memory that have gotten away early and gotten away from striking distance. So going to make sure that doesn't become the case. Just a 1-0 score early. And that one misses downstairs. Counts 1-2. Has been a while since the Laws have beaten the DiamondDawgs. Stretch goes all the way back to June 11th of 2022. Was a game at Damaski Field, 3-2 final. As Richards takes another miss up high, 2-2. So in total, you look at that, it's now been 1,108 days, which is a crazy stretch. Came close a couple of times last year. Tied the DiamondDawgs once here and also once at Damaski Field. 2-2. And Richards rung up looking. As that one framed nice by Kuzet behind the plate. And I know Dane will be frustrated about that one, but he goes back to the dugout and there's 2 down.
Connor waiting.
And it'll be Connor waiting to try to keep the half inning alive. Waiting sits 225. He had game 1 off yesterday, and then in game 2, he started to really find a stride as he gets a good rip through one. Nice healthy hat for strike 1. 1 for 2, 2 runs scored, had an RBI and a walk, and after going hitless in his first 6 games this summer, now has a hit in each of his last 2 played, both of which have been for extra bases as they've been doubles. 1-1 with 2 down to your top 2. Outlaws following that split with the Blue Sox yesterday, sitting at 3-11. Is Jendy's pitch, and waiting, rocketed backwards foul. So the count's at 1-2. Zach Porter is waiting on deck here for the Outlaws. Hoping to get a chance to get up here and swing it. Had a very uncharacteristic game of him yesterday, as that one will miss up. And it count 2-2. Porter took a couple of strikeouts in game one yesterday. Hadn't had a multi-strikeout game to this point. Jandy nods on home and waiting. Big swing and a miss. Another high heater low from Jendy. He's got 4 strikeouts through 2 innings. And the Outlaws going to come back to the field, bottom 2, trailing this thing by a 1-0 score. Back here to Veterans Memorial Park, and Justin Hurd quickly spraying the first one off foul, and so he'll drop down in the count 0-1. He is a returning Diamond Dog who lit it up for this group a season ago and trying to come back and do just that for another year. Takes a big rip through one as he'll be down 0-2. Had just one hit in their walk-off win on Saturday. And he's sitting in the middle of the team right now in batting average with a .229. Schul ready with his 0-2, and that one going to miss high. Little elevator type action as it's 1-2. Justin Hurd had 4 hits in the season series against the Outlaws last year in 7 games. 3 of which came here at Veterans Memorial Park as he'll be sent back to the dugout on a low ball. So Logan Schul, some good drop on that off-speed stuff. And Justin Hurd quickly back to the dugout with 1 away. Mohawk Valley, if you missed it in the bottom of the first, 3 singles and a walk by John Ramsey with the bases loaded got them on the scoreboard. Patience has been an issue for this team, especially here the last few games. So nice to see them take an early big key walk like that as Stoney down in the count 0-2, and he's the last dog in the lineup as they're only batting 9 against the Outlaws. 0-2. That one misses off the outside, but still gets the call. So
John
that makes it 2 outs. It looked like Schul drifted that one a bit too far off the outside edge of the plate, but luckily Zad Porter's framing able to do the job. So back-to-back Ks, top of the lineup. John Calabrese now going to take a called strike 1. It's a Bucknell freshman who got a lot of action this spring, hit just north of 300 as his 0-1. Going to miss low. Logan Schul's been working pretty quick and efficiently here to start things off. 1-1. Another one just above the plate. 2-1. Outlaws on the road tonight wearing those orange tops with the black letters, black numbers, and went gray pants. And Mohawk Valley at home in their black tops with the green letters, green numbers on the jersey, and white pants. That one caught on the line, shot out to second by Connolly. And there's a 1-2-3 for Logan Schul. Outlaws are locked in tonight, and we go to the third here in Little Falls. Your score is 1-0 Mohawk Valley.
Sponsored by our friends at the Nellis Family.
Top of the third here at Veterans Memorial Park in Little Falls. Outlaws still trailing this thing by a 1-0 score. This is game number 2 of 8 in the season series against the DiamondDawgs as that one misses upstairs. And it's a 1-0 count. Supposed to play back on June 10th as well down at Damaski. Would have been the first of 5 in Oneonta. As Jones knocks this one down, flips it high, across the diamond in time. Is Justin Hurd able to keep his foot on the bag and sells that one for the out. So Porter's retired and there's one away. But as I was saying or about to say, that game postponed due to rain. It was kind of a last-minute decision, and that was a tough stretch for all of us in the Outlaw organization. 3 straight games at home rained out, and it's never something you love to see. But we are going to make that one up in the month of July as Woodridge taking a strike call, fall behind in the count. It'll be made up on July 19th as part of a doubleheader. That'll be a long week for Oneonta. 2 doubleheaders that week. We'll be playing a doubleheader on Tuesday of that week against Boonville, and then a Saturday doubleheader against Mohawk Valley. But got to get the games in where you can get them. Is that one straight on back, and it's to 1-2. Had the option to make it up as part of a doubleheader on Wednesday this week, but that would have been even further from ideal to play doubleheaders on Sunday and Wednesday, especially in the midst of playing 9 straight days as this team is right now. 1-2. High. And the count 2-2. Stretch started on Thursday at Glens Falls after an off day Wednesday. It was supposed to be back-to-back off days, but through a makeup game against the Dragons in there on Tuesday. Part of the Outlaws wins. Taken right to the bag unassisted. Gendy going to beat out Woodridge. Tommy does the best he can getting out of the box on that one, but with how high that one was in the air, didn't really have too much of a shot as Gendy sprung off the mound pretty quick. A win for the Outlaws. Their third of 4 that they have, and 3 of their 4 wins have come at home. That Game 2 victory against Utica yesterday actually snapped a long streak that this team had kind of had against them. Hadn't won a road game before last night since June 30th of last summer when they swept a doubleheader at Boonville, as that one turned off foul. Outlaws ripped off quite the month of June last year, and then in the month of July, only 2 wins, and both of which came at Damaski Field against Boonville. 1-1, and Carrera up the line, and that's a foul ball. So now Gendy just 1 strike away from getting out of this 3rd inning. This one moving on quite quickly here this evening, and one of just a couple of games in the PGCBL tonight. I already mentioned that Saugerties and Glens Falls doubleheader, and the only other game in action is a Western Division showdown between Batavia and Jamestown. Seems like just about every night those 2 squads have been playing lately. 4 of the last 5 against each other, as Carrera taking a high one, and the count to 2-2. And that's just kind of the way the scheduling works sometimes here in this league when you're playing primarily just games at your side because they're the only ones that count for the standings and only 6-7 opponents to play. As Carrera gets frozen by 1 low. It means you're going to be playing a lot of games against the same teams over and over again, and this Outlaw and DiamondDawgs team certainly going to be playing each other over and over again. But Gendy shoots him down 1-2-3 here, top half of the 3rd, and DiamondDawgs will come back to the plate here in the bottom half, leading this thing by a 1-0 score. Logan Schul back out trying to go for his longest start as an Oneonta Outlaws. We're here bottom 3 and a 1-0 Mohawk score, and this one smoked out right side. Charging back, caught by Jack Clark. And so Tyler Jones, 1 pitch, 1 out, and that is about as efficient a baseball as you can have it. Add that out to our scoreboard here. I apologize, struggling against the sun. But Tyler Jones retired, and now Joey Calabretti up for a 2nd time. He flew out to center on an 0-2 fastball his last time up. And Logan Schul going to miss up and away with his first one to him. Fall behind. Got 4 different pitches in his arsenal, 4-seamer, a 2-seam, slider, and a changeup. There's a nice swing, but no connection, so it's 1-1. His lifetime high is 95, and he's regularly been sitting 90 to 92 here recently. is 1-1. It's more another miss upstairs. 2 balls, 1 strike. Behind him in this half inning for Mohawk Valley, J.P. Kuzek. And then the fourth dog to hit would be Caden Hart. 2-1. Low and away. And so the count to 3-1. Coming up here in just a moment and talking about the other games going on around the league, we'll give you score updates as this one off the barrel side of the bat and rolls behind the plate so it's full. Logan Schul finds himself in just his second full count in the 3rd inning. As now this one whacked off foul. And the count's to 3-2. Logan Schul, another one, right side, up the middle. Carrera turns, fires it to Waiting in time to get the out. So Matt Carrera charging that ball, and quickly 2 outs. And apologize about our little cam issue here. We're getting that fixed as we speak. A little sensitive here on the road. It's been sensitive all season long so far, but this one down off the plate, and that's ball 1. So 1-0 count with 2 outs, and there's another missed low. And J.P. Kuzet finds himself in a 2-0 count. Caden Hart, again, going to follow him up in the lineup. Kuzek singled his first time out. Another takedown low off the plate, and quickly the count to 3-0. Outlaws bullpen totally quiet in left field as Logan Schultz trying to give some distance here and getting this game started. 3-0 offering in the zone, and it counts to 3-1. Kuzet's been on base in 5 of his last 6 played, as that's a miss up high, ball 4, and that actually goes back to his college season, as he has not been here with Mohawk Valley long. This is his 3rd game as a Diamond Dog, and he has been efficient so far. Now on base twice already in this one, and over the course of his first 2, went 4 for 9 and had a couple of RBIs. No walks, no Ks, so he was continually putting the ball in play. Caden Hart takes a strike, and he'll fall behind 0-1. Short lead off first for Kuzek with 2 outs. It ended Schul's streak of 6 in a row, retired as that one's over the glove of Carrera in the left. Turning second, Kuzet's trying to leg it out for a 3rd. He dives down, Woodard slapping the tag on, and not in time somehow. Looks like Woodridge got that glove down on Kuzet's left leg, but doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. And so the Fairfield catcher able to go first to 3rd on the shallow single. And now John Ramsey with 2 outs, going to try to continue to keep this 2-out rally going. Ramsey was the one who walked with the bases loaded back in the 1st inning to give Mohawk Valley the 1-0 score. And now he takes a strike right down Maine, and he's behind 0-1. Kuzet's at 3rd, Hart's at 1st, 2 down here, bottom 3, and on the run goes Hart, and that's a called strike, no throw coming from Zach Porter. So Caden Hart able to run himself down to second. And now Logan Schul once more just one strike away from escaping a jam. 0-2. Check to Swain, down in the dirt. Zach Porter charges, turns, fires it to Waiting in time. And so that will be a strikeout and a drop third strike, ending the inning. Mohawk Valley, it'll be no runs on one hit, no errors, and they strand a pair here in the third. We go top four here in Little Falls, and it is still a 1-0 Mohawk Valley score.
Who's ready to run some hilarious spins and speedy sprints?
Top half of the fourth back here in Little Falls, and a light start to come on in the ballpark. Brendan Connolly going to start things off here as he takes a called strike one. Connolly struck out swinging on 3 pitches to start the ball game. And now going to take another one just low. Connolly on a nice little stretch here to start the season. He's been on base at least once in each of the 10 games he's played. Is out in the left field. A couple of stutter steps back, and it's caught by Calabrese. And so that will be a barreled up ball and a hard hit one as well. But it ends in an out. And so Connolly the first out of the fourth. And it'll be Jack Clark with one away. Clark put one on the ground towards first. Justin Hurd scooped it up, rushed it to the bag unassisted. His first time up. Clark works ahead 1-0. And now Jendi going to drop another in there for a called strike. Been pretty close to all his spots, even on his misses. As that one grazed down low, and the count's to 2-1. Jendi, a native of Matawan, New Jersey, and his major, in case you were curious, at Felician, is exercise sports science. Wants to be a trainer. As that one passed to diving Ramsey. Rolls into left field. Clark's got a base knock with one out.
Now batting for the Outlaws.
And that's just the Outlaws' second hit of this one thus far. So that's a huge hit. And now Nathan Bowe's going to get the opportunity with still just one out, swing the bat. Clark that short lead off first as Bose takes one low for a called strike one. Jenny's getting a lot of drop on that off-speed stuff into the zone right now. As we said, his ERA a bit inflated at Felicia this spring, finished with a 5.23 average. Actually got to see him pitch earlier on in the season when through at Palm Beach Atlantic. It was his first college career pitching appearance as well. It was way back on February 14th, so it's been a while. He didn't play summer ball last year, but now this summer he's come up to Mohawk Valley and trying to make a big impact here for the DiamondDawgs as a starting pitcher. Bose called strike, and now they count to 1-2. Clark off first. Bose left side turned by Ramsey to Stoney, back to first in time to get out of the inning. So Ramsey goes to Stoney to get Clark, and Stoney flips it to Hurd to get Bose, as that will be a 6-4-3 double play, and the DiamondDawgs once more escape trouble. We hit the bottom of the fourth here in Little Falls, and it remains 1-0 DiamondDawgs score. Logan Schule's night is done after 3 innings here in Little Falls, and he surrenders 1 run. It will be earned. And 4 DiamondDawgs hits, walking 1, and strikes out 3. Zach Rowe on the hill to take things over here, bottom 4, and Ian Olslager quickly going to work ahead 1-0 on him. Zach Rowe has been a lethal two-way piece for this Outlaw team thus far on the season. And yesterday, after quiet game 1 at the dish, saw him come alive in game 2 at a couple of RBIs, but specifically talk about his pitching stats because that's what you got to focus on. 3 appearances, he's made 1 start, and he tosses up a strike there to make it 2-1. His earned run average at this point sitting at 386, 14 innings. 6 hits, 6 runs, all have been earned as a towering shot in the center field, charging forward and laying out, caught by Dane Richards.
Wow, that was an ESPN top
Dane Richards just dived, came charging forward super quick on a dead sprint, lays out and makes the grab. And man, this Outlaw team looking like they're on lock here to start this one. So, go to Justin Hurd with one out, and that one going to miss up high ball one. Last outing on the hill for Zach Rowe came in that Glen Falls game out of the pen behind Schul, as Hurd tips that one back foul. He went 6 1/3 innings, and that was where he got his victory. He had 7 strikeouts, one player of the game for us that night, and only stat you got to keep an eye on is his walks, and that one he surrendered up 6 free passes, and that was one thing that kind of drove his pitch count up from going any further. Was hoping that he could shut the door and finish that one off, but needed a third arm to get it done. So tonight it would be nice to see him go handful of innings. Is that one missing low, 2-2. And we didn't do a coach's interview today with Keaton Mark with the busyness and craziness of the day, but got to talk to him a little bit about what his pitching plan kind of is here for the next couple of days. And really it's going to be innings by committee as Rowe picks up a K. Drops one, lower outer quadrant of the zone, and Justin Hurd will be sent back to the dugout on the backwards K. So Sean Stoney's retired. And there's 2 away. We're back at the bottom of the Diamond Dog lineup, and that one going to graze the shoe. And so it'll be a 2-out base runner. Like that one came out of Zach Rowe's hand a little funny, and he just spiked it downwards. So Stoney gets on first, and it's back to the top of the lineup for John Calabrese. That one off the glove. And charging a second goes Sean Stoney. So Stoney will advance on the wild pitch. And it counts to 1-0. Calabrese is already the 3rd time through the Diamond Dog order will go. As first inning, he flew out to left to begin the ball game and then had a line shot to Brendan Connolly his last time up. Zach Rowe glancing to first as the 1-0 down off the plate. And quickly a 2-0. Got Woodridge over here at third. Here for Oneonta. Shortstop tonight, Carrera. Second, Connolly. First is waiting for this infield. Got Kohler, Richards, Clark left to right in the outfield. Is that off the plate and knocked down by Porter. Making sure that Stoney wouldn't try to go and test his absolute missile of an arm behind the plate. Already seen Porter gun out 4 base runners this summer that tried to steal on him. And sometimes with how late some of these pitchers have been to the plate, getting 4 caught stealings is kind of something big in itself. 3-0. There's a strike, back door. So 3-1 it'll be. Got Jace Kohler all the way back on the warning track in left field as the 3-1. Out towards left center, drops between Kohler and Richards. Around in third comes Sean Stoney. Big turn first. John Calabrese retreats. He has a two-out single, and it's for an RBI as Mohawk Valley now a 2-0 lead. So that's exactly what you want to see from your leadoff hitter and one that did some damage for you in your last game. Just see him put a barrel on a ball and drive it a long way and find a hole as well. because that one nowhere close to Kohler or Richard, so a lot of ground to cover. Is called strike one coming to Tyler Jones as he doesn't even pull the bat off the shoulder. Five hits already in this one for the Dawgs as Porter springs up out of his crouch, and it's a 1-1 count. Outlaws' final trip up here to Veterans Memorial Park in Little Falls will be on July 10th. So just one more trip up here, and the other 5 games to be had are at Damaski Field, including most notably the 4th of July game between these two squads. That'll be the only 6 p.m. start of the year on tap at home for Oneonta. Every other game, either 7 or, in the case of a doubleheader, game 1 starts at 5. 2-2's now your count on Tyler Jones. And at this point, only 2 doubleheaders at home, and we already mentioned both of them coming in that same week. The Boonville and Mohawk Valley, middle of the month of July, just before you have to stop playing doubleheaders because July 21st is the last day to play them. Towering shot higher than the mountains. Drifts over right of the Dodge pen, and so we'll try it again. Zach Rowe trying to get out of trouble here. Leave just the 1 spot on the board. Get the Laws back to the plate, top 5, only trailing by a 2 spot. Checks the runner, and now deals one up high. And it's full. This Mohawk Valley team, we've talked about the Outlaw upcoming schedule. Well, on their side of things, they're going to have to finish up a game against Boonville tomorrow that got suspended a week and a half ago here. Waiting, drifts up and makes the play. Just in front of the screen, in front of the fans on the opposite side. He pulls it out of the sun and gets the Laws out of the inning. So the defense has continued to be locked down here for the Laws. In top 5 we go here on Outlaw YouTube, and it remains just a 2-0 Mohawk Valley lead. Top 5 in Little Falls. Outlaws and DiamondDawgs, 2nd at 8 this summer. Laws still looking for some offense. We're scorching hot last night, 13 runs. That one off the mound and rolls into center field. And Jace Kohler's going to have himself a leadoff single to start this 5th. So Adam Gendy gets greeted with a big one here starting the 5th. Wasn't a hard hit ball by any stretch of the imagination, but just driving it off the mound like Kohler did, exactly what you got to do if you want to find base runners. And certainly what the Outlaws need right now, they've had just one, which was Montesano, is at the plate right now, and it was on his hit. Gendy's been sharp, as I've said, with his location so far in this one. And the Outlaws have been offering it anything that's been remotely close so far. Gendy's 0-1. Montesano rips right through it. So the count's to 0-2. He was pretty good 2 summers ago down in the South Florida Collegiate League with the Palm Beach Extreme. Last summer with Macon. Just those 2 games, as I mentioned in his first at bat, is the 0-2. Sails high. Been part of the academic all-district team in each of his last 2 years. Jacksonville State 2 years ago, and then this spring at East Tennessee State. And East Tennessee State had pretty good season, another winning year. Not quite enough to go deep in the conference tourney, though. And Montesano in the portal looking for a new home after just 1 season there. 1-2. And he goes reaching for one. Got dropped. Kuzek keeps it down right in front of him, and so there's 1 out. For now, Dane Richards. Dane Richards struck out looking in the 2nd inning. There's another guy on this Outlaw team on that list of looking for a new home next year, and you heard from him on the pregame show a couple days back about how the process has been going. Always hard in this day and age with how active the transfer portal really is. His account goes even to a ball and a strike. That one drops low. And the count 2-1. Behind Richards will be Connor Waiting. Is the 2-1 plunge Richards on the back of the jersey. Dean Richards is continued to take him like a man to get on base. It's his 5th hit by pitch already of the summer. And he's 1st and 2nd with 1 out, and Mohawk Valley's going to have a mound visit here. Steve Luby's coming out. We'll see if he'll take the ball from Gendy. It's like he's not going to yet. This is already creeping up like it could be his longest start as a Diamond Dog. Pitch-wise, it's definitely going to be, but innings-wise, hasn't hit it yet. 4 innings was his last start against Boonville. This Mohawk Valley team has played a lot against the Lumberjacks in the early goings, but getting back to what I was talking about with their upcoming schedule, they were suspended middle of 2 against Boonville about a week and a half ago. They'll finish that one tomorrow and then play a 7-inning game after the fact for Wednesday coming to Oneonta. As Wade takes an elevator shot for ball 1. After that, they're going to go to Saugerties Thursday, get an off day Friday before being right back here at home Saturday to host Amsterdam. Waiting a little bit late on that one, put it foul, and the count's to 1-1. Outlaws just 2 hits so far, trying to muster up some more offense. One, and Waiting, tip bat foul. So the count's at 1-2. Waiting. Another miss up off the plate, and it rolls to 2-2. Gendy's taking a look, both base runners here. Now he fires. And waiting, will be rung up looking. That one just drops into that lower outer quadrant of the zone, and he took it with no offer at it. And so there's 2 outs for now. Zach Porter. Zach Porter grounded out 5-3 to start the 3rd inning on a 1-2. It was a ball that Jones came charging at and just turned, fired it across the diamond to Justin Hurd and just barely beat him on. Porter takes one high, and it counts to 1-0. DiamondDawgs have somebody getting hot in the bullpen in right field, so there's probably going to be Gendy's last inning. Porter taking another high ball. Counts 2-0. Gendy, this run support that he's gotten has already eclipsed what he got in each of his first 2 appearances. 2-0. Left one game with a 1-0 lead, left the other in a 0-0 tie. Is out towards right center, caught on the run by Hart. And that stops things in the tracks right there. So that one, nice ride off the bat of Zach Porter, but just can't leave the yard. It'll be no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on, and we go to the bottom of the 5th as we're already halfway home, zipping through this thing. And it is a 2-0 DiamondDawgs score. Back here to Mohawk Valley, bottom 5. DiamondDawgs have a 2-0 lead. Zach Rowe out for his 2nd inning, and he airmails his first pitch. And so quickly he'll fall behind 1-0 in the count. Joey Calabretti at the dish for the Dawgs. He's 0 for 2, fly out to center in the 1st, and then a 6-3 ground out in the 3rd. And now jumps ahead 2-0. Last year, this Mohawk Valley team beaten the Laws 5 of 7 games. Other 2 were ties, 1 here and 1 at our place. And the one at our place is one that most everybody remembers and most everybody talked about as one of the best games of last season. Outlaws were down 8-0 early, 4th of July. Rallied back in front of a loud crowd and the biggest crowd of the summer to tie it up as that's called on the run by Richards. And there's one away.
catcher, number 30 from Fairfield University.
The biggest hit of the night came in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bases were loaded with 2 outs and down to 2 strikes. Colton Harrison clenched up on the bat and just drove one out to right center and came up with one of the bigger doubles of the Outlaws month of July last year. Speaking of that game at Boonville, that doubleheader on June 30th of last summer earlier on, if you caught that, Colton Harrison, that was his best performance of last summer as an Outlaw. And it was his birthday, and he absolutely went off across the 2 games, 6 hits, and if I recall, drove in 8 across the 2 games that day. Kuzak working at 2-0. Now he this summer playing down in Acadiana in Louisiana, close to home. And the Cane Cutters have been playing some pretty good ball, and he's been hitting well the last I checked. Got to watch him on one of our off days here about a week ago. Paid for the little Texas Collegiate League pass for the day and got to watch Colton finish with 2 hits the game that I caught. .30, and that's high for ball 4. So Kuzak will draw the 1-out walk.
The center fielder, number 11 from Virginia Tech.
And now Caden Hart, the Virginia Tech product, is going to walk to the plate here for Mohawk Valley. Zach Porter's coming out here to talk to Zach Rowe, try to make sure they're locked in, dialed in, and on the same page. And not a bad time at all to do that. I mean, you get a ball on the ground here, you flip 2 outs, and all of a sudden you get out of the inning. Sometimes not trying to get on the same page and trying to strategize a little work to get that done is the difference between that ground ball that you want and couple of runs being placed on the board, and you can't really afford to give up any more against the DiamondDawgs team, who's struggled to put runs up as is, averaging just over 4 runs a game and continuing to struggle swinging the bat. As we said, coming in, this team, the worst average in the PGCBL. Outlaws with red-hot bats the last couple of games. They were in that position for a little while, have now gone up to 13th, tied with Glens Falls, who, believe it or not, just beat the Saugerty Stallions in game 1 of their doubleheader up there. That was some huge news. They're going to be playing one more 7-inning game later. Batavia and Jamestown in the midst of their game as well right now, as that drops back door for a called strike, and it's 1-2. Well, final was 5-2 a game 1 at Eastfield in the 7. Batavia leading Jamestown 7-2, bottom 5. Russell E. Dietrich and Zach Rowe going to get a strikeout. Is knifes that one to the upper outside quadrant and cell jobs it. Does Zach Porter. So 2 outs, and now you don't even need that double playground ball. J.P. Kuzet still chilling at first. 2 down now for John Ramsey. Big swing and a miss. And Ramsey will fall behind 0-1. Woodridge pinched up a little bit over here at third. Carrera's back towards the edge of the dirt on the Outlaw infield. Got Connolly creeping up a little bit as well. Miss low from Rowe outside. Count goes to 1-1. Zach Rowe, 2 straight balls, and now has to come back in the zone. Just can't afford too many misses. Against a team who's been struggling, because you know anything close to the zone they're going to be keeping their eyes out for and trying to pelt it. Low miss there, and the count's 3-1. Rowe, it's like he's getting real warm out there pretty quick for this Outlaw team. Again, can't blame him. Sun's still beaming, and we're now 8 o'clock. We've been playing about an hour and 20 as he gets a big swing. So now just needs one more of those to escape the jam and get out of the inning. Sun will be setting here. Was projected to be 8:25 sunset in Little Falls, so coming up here shortly. Going to be a factor for at least another inning or two as there's a high miss upstairs. John Ramsey gets on base. Kuzek advances to second.
Number 14 from RPI, Ian Olschlager.
And Ian Olschlager going to try to do a job. He's 0 for 2. Olschlager repping the bid 14. Teammate of 2024 Outlaw Owen Burnsworth at RPI. Foul territory. Jack Clark going for a run, and it drops. Just couldn't read it the way he was looking to. And would have had a play as he was right there. Lost his hat on the run. So he'll go back to his position. And everybody will reset up here. Again, bottom 5 from Veterans Memorial Park. Outlaws, this is their second trip here. First since June the 5th. Had a lead for much of the ball game. We're leading 6-3 late, and then ultimately ended up losing 8-7 in 10 innings. High called strike in Olschlager. Going to be in 2-strike approach. Zach Rowe deals. And that's a couple balls out. So it moves to 1-2. Porter has to jump right up to grab that one out of the air. Counts 2 balls, 2 strikes. Olschlager got a lot of action this spring as a freshman. Known on this DiamondDawgs team as simply just O. And Porter, nice sliding back pick, able to hold on to that one. So the count full here with 2 down. Blasted ball off foul. Rowe sails one high. That's ball 4. So the bases will be juiced here for the DiamondDawgs. I apologize, just trying to take care of something for our Outlaw 5K here in just a second. And let's talk about that. I mean, coming up next weekend, going to be a huge weekend in Oneonta. Not only is it 4th of July, but it's our family weekend. And it will be the first Outlaw 5K since 2019. It'll be a 5:30 start just outside Damaski Field. And well, make sure you get your registrations in. We're still locking down our last couple of sponsors as Kohler chases that one back and it gets out of here. Grand slam, Justin Hurd. And that will be the shot heard around Little Falls tonight. A smoked ball off the bat. And just like that, the DiamondDawgs lead this thing 6-0. So Zach Rowe is certainly going to want that ball back.
Now batting for your Dogs, the second baseman, number 7 from Lincoln University, Sean.
Just located one a little bit too high, and, well, gets greeted with one that's a towering blast as a result. So it sits nothing Dawgs, and the Outlaws' struggles against this Mohawk Valley team continue as Sean Stoney going to settle into the box. Had 2 strikes on 3 straight batters with 2 outs and just can't get the pitch that he's looking for, Zach Rowe. And so now the count 0-1. 0-1, misses up high. Seems like Rowe's gone to working quick here to try to keep himself in rhythm. Outlaws getting an arm up and throwing in left. It's like Jordan Goebel is starting to get hot. Ian Wirtz, Outlaw catcher, not in the lineup down there catching him as Stoney offers for 1. And now he'll be in 2-strike approach as yet another 2 strikes dealed up by Zach Rowe. 2-2, misses up high. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Rowe, payoff. Misses low, ball 4.
Now batting for your Dogs.
So Zach Rowe loses him despite getting
Now University.
2 strikes.
Calabrese.
And that's got to hurt. But getting back to what I say next weekend about family weekend, with that 5K, it's at 5:30. We're going to have gift cards for top finishers, and everybody who signs up is going to get a little runner swag bag. And not just that, but gets free admission to the Outlaw game that night against the Saugerty Stallions. So make sure you head over to our socials and our website today and sign up. We're also going to have a table in the park on the 4th of July and going to be hammering registrations that day. We'll have day of registration as well, and we're just hoping to make that a great time and great event for the city as Connolly gets it to waiting to finally get out of the inning. So 4-3 gets it done, but not before 4 runs score here on a pair of hits for the Dawgs. It'll be no errors and 1 left on, and 2 the 6th we go here in Mohawk Valley. Speaking of sits, it's a 6-0 score. Top 6 here from Little Falls. And the Outlaws going to have Thomas Woodridge, Matt Carrera, and then top of the lineup up facing new pitcher on the hill for the Dawgs, Joey Calabretti, the two-way. And Woodridge going to get ahead 1-0 in the count on the one that misses in low. Calabretti, this is just his third pitching appearance of the summer, and first two have gone pretty well. 1-0 record, 4 1/3 innings, surrendered 1 hit, 1 run. It was unearned with a walk. Calabretti, his batting average pretty good too. Sitting at 250. Is that one whacked up behind the plate. And the count going to go 1-2 here on Woodridge. So Woodridge going to go to 2-strike approach. And that misses low. So it goes to 2-2. Calabretti bumps one in there for a called strike 3. So Woodridge will be frozen. And he'll take the walk back to the dugout. So Calabretti greets the Outlaws with some lethal breaking stuff. And now Matt Carrera going to continue to try to get the bats going. Carrera 0 for 1 starting the game, struck out looking in the third inning. Carrera going to take one in the zone for a called strike. And the count goes 0-1. Carrera, second-year Outlaws, had a hard time getting the bat rolling. Yet to have a multi-hit game this summer, but has had 1 hit each of 4 occasions. Last summer he had a tough start to the season as well before he picked it up in the month of July despite the team struggles as he goes right through one. And the count now 1-2. Outlaws, there were a couple of guys, Matt Carrera, Marco Moises, who turned it on in the month of July. Kept this team in some games despite the losses stacking up. Is that one foul? So Carrera just keeps on at it. One, two. And Carrera back towards the Outlaw dugout. He's now seen 5, and he's still in a 1-2 count. Carrera wasn't in the lineup the first time the Outlaws were here. It's that left side of the infield had Jaden Kennedy at third and Jace Kohler at short, so a lot different look here tonight. DiamondDawgs trotting out a very similar lineup to what the Laws saw the last time they were here as Carrera went reaching. And he's retired as a result. So Matt Carrera retired, back-to-back Ks for Joey Calabretti, and it's top of the lineup here for the Laws is Brendan Connolly a walk up. Connolly struck out swinging in the first and then flew out to Calabretti in left field in the fourth. Turned on this one, Connolly out to left field, drops for a base knock. He takes the big turnaround first and stops there. Well, that's exactly what the Outlaws needed, just some kind of spark and some kind of energy after that 4-spot potted in the bottom of the 5th, and the DiamondDawgs now 5 runs in total over the course of the last 2 half innings. Here comes Jack Clark. He's 1 for 2. Last time he got forced out 6-4 as part of a 6-4-3 double play that ended the 4th inning. Outlaws have only mustered 4 hits in total to this point. Nobody's got 2 of them as of yet. That's a swing and a miss. And the count rolls to 0-1. Checklet to first, 0-1 offering. Big swing yet again. And Jack Clark now in 2-strike approach with 2 away. Oh, 2, and that misses low. Jack Clark low, and that one to first, and Connolly able to get back in there. So it's 2-2 with 2 away. Saugerties in Glens Falls after the Dragons got the better end of game 1. Saugerties is turning around, and they got the bat starting to come alive in game 2 as they have a 5-1 lead in the 6th inning. Stallions, a very good baseball team that certainly could do some damage down the stretch if they continue to stay hot. They still have a couple of pieces that have yet to come. They're going to be coming in July to play out the rest of the season, so imagine how good and much better that team could even get with the additions that they have. Handful of Division I guys that still haven't showed up in town yet. Boonville's been really good and surprise to many. And Clark going to be struck out. Calabretti drops one to the lower outside quadrant of the zone. And Connolly, despite being on the run with 2 strikes, going to get stranded. Bottom 6 coming up next, and the Outlaws still trailing the Dawgs by a 6-0 score. Tyler Jones will kick things off here for the DiamondDawgs, bottom 6, and the Outlaws bringing a new pitcher out as Zach Rowe able to go 2 innings behind Logan Scholl, and well, now it's Jordan Goebel who does the work here for the Laws. His first pitch swinging, and that one bounced right up off the plate by Jones, and it'll be 0-1. Both corners, Woodridge at third and waiting at first, came charging in, ready to make a play on that ball if they got the opportunity. Would have expected Jordan Goebel to go charging forward as well. Goebel, you see it, a little different for him. Went submarine this year at SUNY Oswego for the first time, and he offers up a single. And so immediately Mohawk Valley going to get a base runner with Jones past the diving Carrera, putting that one into left center. So Jones starts it off with a base hit. And now Joey Calabretti, who's 0 for 3, going to settle in for the Dawgs. 2 fly out, center field, Dane Richards. Last one was it was a remarkable catch. Richards just laid out looking like Superman in center field and came down with it. So Calabretti will be looking to get the better end and best him for a hit this time, as that one just passed Steve Luby, head coach of the Dawgs, who's coaching third over here in front of us. Short lead off first for Tyler Jones. Bullpen's quiet here for Mohawk Valley at the moment, so Calabretti going to be coming out for at least one more inning, it seems. This one, absolute monster being behind home, caught by Zach Porter. Just pulled that mask off, made sure he got a nice view of it, and he's able to yank it down. So Porter counts for the P2 on Calabretti. And DH doing both jobs tonight, so a little Shohei Ohtani type action here in the Mohawk Valley lineup. And now J.P. Kuzak with 1 out. Short lead for Tyler Jones once more. Goebel offers up a strike call. So it's 0-1. Kuzak has been on all 3 times tonight. A single, 2 once, and also has scored a run. Came in on part of that Justin Hurd grand slam. Game felt pretty close before that one went over the fence, and I mean it was 2-0, but then once that Hurd ball cleared the fence, all of a sudden 6-0, and the lead looking quite daunting for this Outlaw team, still struggling to string together multi-hits in an inning. On the infield, Carrera's waving everybody off backside of the mound, caught it. So he came charging in between second and the mound and makes the grab. Nice to see the Outlaws communicating on the field like that. It's going to be Caden Hart, now 2 for 3. There's a stolen base and a strikeout as well, and there's a big swing. And the count's 0-1. Connolly positioned on an angle, left side bag on second. Count rolls 1-1 here as Goebel still struggling around the zone. 1-1. Turned on, out towards center. Dane Richards 3 steps in and makes the easy grab. And that gets the Laws out of the inning. Jordan Goebel works around a leadoff single and strands Tyler Jones. Dawgs have left 8 on through 6th innings. And we go to the 7th here in Little Falls. It is a 6-0 Mohawk Valley score.
Be sure to come back here tomorrow night. We're going to play 2. That's right, your DiamondDawgs are taking on a doubleheader against the Boonville Lumberjacks. First pitch will be at 5 o'clock.
Top 7, it'll be 3, 4, 5 to bat for the Outlaws. Nathan Bowes, extra hitter, going to start things off. Bowes 0 for 2, beginning the night. Struck out swinging in the first and grounded 6-4-3 into a double play in the fourth. Calabretti back out on the hill for a second inning of work, and he misses his spot down and away. Calabretti, a lot of movement, especially off the plate with the stuff he's been tossing up. And the 1 out. Bowes clipped it off the bat, right back into the glove. Counts 1-1. Bowes missed some time for the Outlaws. Saturday to Friday was nursing a little hamstring injury. Got back in there against the Stallions and played against the Amsterdam Mohawk Saturday as well in that loss for yesterday, playing back end of the doubleheader in game 2. 1-1. And that one shot straight back over the screen. And it counts to 1-2. An Amsterdam Mohawk game on Saturday is certainly another one that felt a lot closer than the score showed. 8-2 was the final, and was 2-2 with the exception of that top of the 5th where Amsterdam plated 6 runs. Evan Staroba being charged with 4 of them, and Martin Thorsland in the back 2 coming out of the bullpen. Three of the 4 hits have come from top 4 in the lineup as that one bounced off the plate. And the count runs full. Calabretti kicks and fires. And Bowes back into the glove, retired on a swinging K. And there's 1 out.
Now batting for the Outlaws, the left fielder number 28 from High Point University, Jace Kohler.
So Jace Kohler up with 1 away, or top 7. And this one going to be in there for a called strike. Kohler's 1 for 2. Popped out to first, Justin Hurd, and then singled his last time up. And that one right down the pike, called strike 2. And Kohler will be in 2-strike approach. Has really kind of been a pitcher's battle in a lot of respects tonight. A lot of getting ahead early in counts. Kohler kicking that foot up, and he's going to lay off and take one low. Counts 1-2. Got Stoney drifting over on that right side of the infield. Hurd's off the bag. Is that one going to sail high? So 2 straight balls fired up, and now a 2-2 count. Again, real small crowd, Veterans Memorial Park tonight. And our home plate umpire going to get drilled off the mask. Going to step back and shake it off. And we've already seen an umpire concussion in a game this summer. Happened our first time down in Saugerties. Keaton March walking down to talk to Jace Kohler and made sure they're on the same page. I think they're just checking and making sure our guy behind the dish is good to go. Nothing wrong with that at all. Travis Heiser, the DiamondDawgs owner, out to check on him as well. You don't exactly keep an extra umpire in the house for situations where something might happen to the one. It looks like is in good spirits. Steve Luby checking on him as well. And, well, seems like he's good to go. Speaking of good to go, get yourself good and ready to go in good shape. Outlaw 5K coming up Saturday, July 5th. That'll be a 5:30 p.m. start outside Damaski Field. Going to have a full timing system. We're going to have some stuff for all of our participants and top finishers. We'll get gift cards. Everybody who does run gets free admission to the Outlaw game that night against the Saugerty Stallions. Outlaws home back-to-back games that weekend as they're home on the 4th of July as well against this Diamond Dog team. 6 o'clock is the start of family weekend. Going to have a family weekend breakfast going on Saturday, July 5th as well. Count's full here with one down. Have some cornhole going on as well. It'll be a good time. Is that one out towards second, ranging left. Stoney dumps it into the glove of her. And there's a 4-3. Jace Kohler's retired.
Now batting for the Outlaws, the designated hitter number 34 from East Tennessee State.
So 2 outs.
Lenny Montesano.
Lenny Montesano had a single in his first at bat as an Outlaw. Struck out swinging in the 5th. Only took 4 pitches, get that strikeout. Is that one going to miss? And so he'll work at 1-0. Calabretti, second of his 3 pitching appearances here at home. There's another swing. And Montesano will be trailing 1-1. Han Montesano, Dane Richards struck out looking in the second, was hit by a pitch in the 5th, waiting on deck. Trying to find a way to keep this half inning going as he swings right through that. And so Calabretti just one more to get us to the stretch here in Little Falls. The 1-2. Montesano skyrocketing it off up over the seats. First base line, and it'll stay 1-2. Montesano going to take one low, called strike 3, and he's frustrated. And Calabretti is now retired all but one of the Outlaws he's seen in his 2 innings. Laws have stranded 4 on base through 7, and bottom half of inning 7 coming up next. DiamondDawgs still in the driver's seat of this one by a 6-0 score. Outlaws continue to look for some more fishing outs on the hill. Jordan Goebel back out for another inning of work, and he is going to see 6, 7, 8 in the Dawgs order here, bottom 7. John Ramsey takes the miss off the plate, and the count works to 1-0. Ramsey so far in the ball game. Peril Watts has an RBI and a run scored as well, as that one missing low, and the count's to 2-0. That walk that he took in the first inning came with the bases loaded, got the Dawgs on the board first. Since then, they've gone on to tack on 5 more, including that grand slam by Justin Hurd. .3-0 pitch to Ramsey, gonna drop low. That's ball 4. So Ramsey's taking now 3 walks in this ball game. And now Goebel will be looking for something on the ground, going to Olschlager here in this dog lineup. Olschlager takes a strike. And that's a called strike. And so Goebel works ahead 0-2. Olschlager scoring as part of that Justin Hurd lawn ball. Also flew out to center. Is that one above the shoelaces. And that's ball 1. So the count to 1-2. Goebel again misses outside low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Short leadoff first for John Ramsey. Does look like he wants to run. He takes a few more steps, and that one low. So Olschlager back to a full count after Goebel got ahead 0-2. And another one missing. Off the plate, Jordan Goebel back-to-back walks. He's fired up. And now the Outlaws probably going to start to get somebody up and thrown in the bullpen.
Now batting for your Dawgs, the first baseman number 27 from SUNY Albany, Justin Hurd.
Zach Porter's going to walk out and have a conversation here with Jordan Goebel. They settle him down and give some time, hopefully, for another arm to start to get loose. Knew you're probably going to need one more behind Goebel. He's on a tight innings limit this summer, coming here from Oswego. So Goebel, after potting up a 0, gave up a single to Jones and retired 3 straight. Immediately in trouble here coming out of the door in the 7th. Goebel turns, look backward to second. Is that one missing down and away? Justin Hurd gets ahead 1-0. Goebel turns, looks at first and second. Another miss high. Slap tag at first. And waiting, thought he got that one on there on Olschlager. Did call that one a strike, so Goebel 1-1 here on Hurd. Just barely evaded that tag of waiting, and Coach Steve Luby certainly frustrated over here at third that one was so close. A little dribbler up the first baseline. Goebel charges, turns, flips it from the glove to Waiting. Lost his love in the process and still gets it done.
Wow, what a great play.
So Goebel,
Your Dogs, the second
great
base
play charging off the mound.
University, Sean
Make that one look a lot easier than it really was. Both base runners do advance 90 feet, so Ramsey scampers to third. Olslager scampers to second, and there's one away for Sean Stoney. Stoney on in each of his last two times after striking out looking in the second. That one misses downstairs. And Stoney gets ahead 1-0. Back in the zone. Coble starting to fill it up. Goebel 0-2. Blasted out towards left center, charging. Dean Richards lays out and makes the grab. From third, Ramsey's going to tag and score. And the DiamondDawgs, a 7-0 lead, gives Stoney the sack RBI.
Your Dogs, the left fielder, number 3 from Bucknell University, John Calabrese.
So Stoney with his first ribby of the game. And advance Ramsey in the score. Olslager stays put at second. And we'll add that up here for you as it's now 7-0 Dogs. Top of the lineup, John Calabrese going to come back up. 1 for 4 on the ball game. Has only hit a single. Coble turns, checks back behind him. And now this one angled off foul. Fly out to Kohler in left, and a line shot to Connolly at second. His RBI single in the fourth, which gave the DiamondDawgs little insurance for 4 spot, and then the 4-3 in the fifth on the ground. 0-1. Gonna miss high. And Goebel finds himself in a 1-1 count. Coming up in the 8th inning, we'll take one more look here tonight at a couple of games we got going on in the PGCBL. Talked about Dragons upsetting the Stallions in Game 1, and now they're in the midst of Game 2. Batavia and Jamestown still going on as well out James E. Deathred Park. Strike 2 tossed up. And now Goebel needing just one more to get himself out of this. Goebel turns, looks around, 1-2. Blasted on the ground, past the outstretched glove of Matt Carrera in the left center. Richards the throw coming to the plate. That Porter jumps, guns the throw to second. Connolly slaps the tag on in time. And so John Calabrese is going to get gunned out at second. Run does count though. And so Mohawk Valley will have an 8-0 lead. Calabrese will get the RBI. It will be a single, and then he gets thrown out on the base paths trying to advance. So 8-0 Mohawk Valley, and we will go to the top of the 8th here in Little Falls. And the Outlaws need some offense and need some offense fast. Time's winding down for the Outlaws. And it's Monday night in Little Falls. Top of the 8th we go, and they still trail this thing by an 8-0 score. Dane Richards going to start it off as it'll be 6-7-8 to face the new pitcher, and Jake Beck from Trinity College here from Mohawk Valley. Just one appearance so far, an inning, 1 hit, 1 run. It was unearned. He walked 2 and struck out 2 as Richard went ripping right through 1 for strike 1. Dane Richards on the ball game, strikeout looking and a hit by pitch is the 0-1. And that one comes up, drills our home plate umpire again. Came right up, lost his mask, and Steve Luby's coming out, and our field umpire coming out. So's owner Travis Heiser, really taking a beating back there tonight. And they're going to check, make sure he's all right and can stay in this one. Never love to see 1, yet alone 2. I think they're trying to make sure there's no signs of a concussion. And said before, we already had 1 concussed umpire in Socrates, didn't find out till 2 days later, but definitely don't want to see another one.
Fans have a big hand for our home plate umpire. He's taking 2 of those tonight. Still in the game. What a trooper.
So Dane Richards drilled that one up behind home and just came right off the mask. And, well, definitely not how Jake Beck saw his outing starting. I mean, he gets the 2 strikes, but kind of chilling out a little bit here, waiting to throw his next one. O2 and Richards wedged it behind him, foul. Kyle Bartlett getting loose for the Outlaws, looking like he'll be coming in the bottom of the 8th. He got the start the other night at home. Came against Socrates. Talk about that when he gets in here in the bottom half of the inning. 1-2. Richards backwards to the screen yet again. So he's now seen 5, continuing to fight as it's a 1-2 count. Richards jumps back off that as that's ball 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes with nobody away. And another one off foul. So he's certainly working Beck's pitch count up. Only threw 21 pitches in his first appearance, get through an inning. And now 8 already. It is short, fired high over the glove of Hurd. Him and Richards kind of collided a little bit there on the bag. That will be a throwing error. So it'll be an E6. And Dane Richards on base. And now Connor Waiting going to try to keep his hit streak going. Has a double in each of the last 2 games for the Laws. Waiting takes one low. One 0 again in tight to Waiting. 2-0. Jumping off first, Richards. Waiting to call it strike, and the count goes to 2-1. So, as we said, taking a look at other scores around the league right now. Final of their doubleheader at Eastfield and Glens Falls. Game 1 going to the Dragons, 5-2 over Saugerties. Game 2 going on right now. In top 5, the Stallions have a 6-1 lead. The only other game besides, of course, right now here in Little Falls, going on in Jamestown, Batavia, an 11-4 lead, bottom 8. So all these games going to be getting done relatively early here tonight. Waiting in a full count. Got Stoney pinched up in a little bit at second. Getting Ramsey at short here. Is the payoff in the dirt ball 4. And back-to-back base runners have now reached for Oneonta.
Batting for the Outlaws, the catcher, number 49 from Wofford College, Zach Porter.
So Zach Porter will come up, and this will be a chance for the Outlaws to try to start to make some noise. Haven't had back-to-back base runners reach all game. Richards back beyond second as this one blasted out right side, drifting back. Gets caught on a warning trap by Olslager. Tagging Richards is going to come to third. That ball bounced away from Stoney. And so that's some sacrifice baseball right there. F9's at Porter. Richards goes to third, and it'll be runners at the corners for the Laws with one down. And Thomas Woodridge trying to find the first RBI of the game. Woodridge so far is 0 for 2, a 3 unassisted ground out in the third, strikeout looking in the sixth. He goes first pitch swinging, pops that one out towards the Outlaw bullpen. Stays inside the yard. Be a 0-1 count. Drop just inside the fence as it's 0-1. Richards, another one up foul. And down to 0-2. And another one head high, 1-2. Richards, another one foul. And that one going to get on out of here. So Woodridge, 5 now. Still in a 1-2 count. Richards off third, waiting off first, 1 down. Outlaws looking for their first run, and that's a low one. Count to 2-2. Beck waits, now fires. Goes strike 3. There's a high one to the upper outside, rings up Woodridge. And now he'll head back to the dugout. 2 down, 2 on for Matt Carrera. Carrera's been punched out twice tonight. And now not trying to repeat that for a third time. It was a 2-2 count in the third. Took that one looking. And then in the sixth, took it swinging on a 1-2. Worked 6 pitches before finally taking the put down. It was a fastball off Calabretti he struck out on, and he'll now see each of the Diamond Dog pitchers once down here in the very bottom of the lineup with the Outlaws batting 10. Game 1 yesterday at Utica was first time in 5 games that they had gone back to just 9, but then back to 10 for Game 2, and again here today. Oh, what? Carrera up this one. Looks like it's going to stay fair, and finally just drifted up out of here. It dropped in the bleachers. You might have heard the clink on the opposite side. We said pretty quiet here in Little Falls. You might be able to see it. Not too many. Those seats on the first baseline.
Houston, we have a problem.
Outlaws 1 hit apiece in the second, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And it's strained 2 consecutive together all game long. 0-2. Carrera, another one, straight backwards. So Beck will settle back on the rubber here. And that's called strike 3. Carrera going to be rung up looking. So Matt Carrera takes that one in the zone. And Outlaws, it'll be no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 2 left on. Top of the lineup for the Loss coming up in the 9th. But first, Mohawk Valley will come to bat, bottom 8, and Kyle Bartlett will be in a pitch when we come back. Back here to Little Falls, bottom 8, and Kyle Bartlett going to take over the pitching duties for the Outlaws. Be his 5th appearance and 4th out of the bullpen after his 1 start coming on Friday. Immediately gets a ground ball. Carrera turns, shoots it on over to Waiting in time for the out. So Tyler Jones retired, 1 pitch, 1 out, and As we like to say, if that's not efficient, I don't know what is. But let's talk about the game log here for Bartlett. His ERA through 8 innings is hitting a 7.88, and a lot of that goes back to his last 2 outings, both of which came against Saugerties. In the start on Friday, 2 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned, no strikeouts. The Thursday beforehand, 2 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, all earned in that 5-4 loss on the road. It's a swinging strike to start this next at bat against Joey Calabretti. Joey Calabretti is 0 for 4 on the game, trying not to make it 0 for 5 as he whacks one backwards. And it counts to 0-2. Bartlett turns, and that one going to be just low. Like a couple balls down out of the zone. Counts at 1-2. Behind Calabretti, J.P. Kuzak going to follow him up. And again, the Outlaws going to have top of the lineup coming up in the top of the 9th, trying to make this one a little more interesting. As this one gets away from Porter behind the plate, running it down. Calabretti will get to first. And so on the drop third strike, he gets on base.
Dawgs, the catcher, number 30 from Fairfield University,
And J.P. Kuzak going to come up, try to do some damage with this. Kuzak's been on base 3 of his 4 times at the plate tonight. Single in the first, and then walks in the 3rd and 5th with a run scored in the 5th. And his last at bat had a pop out to short. Bartlett turns, glances towards first, and that one going to sail upstairs and away. Ball 1. Just a reminder, if you missed it, the Outlaws, Mohawk Valley playing again later this week, and it's the next Outlaws home game, too, coming up on Wednesday. Pirate Princesses and Villains night at Damaski Field. First pitch will be 7 o'clock. That one drops in for a nice called strike, and the count to 1-1. Outlaws also going to be home on Friday this week. Going to be against Amsterdam, another 7 o'clock start. And Potato Night is the Idaho Potato Commission truck going to be in attendance at Damaski Field and have some samples and be selling all their products all night long. In the zone, that one comes for a strike, and the count to 1-2. And next week will be one of the busier weeks at home the Outlaws have all summer. 4 games at home. As the Outlaws going to have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at Damaski Field next week. 1-2. Turned on, shot out, left center, shallow, and drops. Trot into second goes Calabretti. J.P. Kuzak, shallow hit knock. And it will be first and second for the Dawgs with still just 1 out. So Caden Hart will come up and get a chance to swing it, and Kyle Bartlett was cruising along pretty good. 1 pitch, 1 out, gets had 2 strikes, but now getting greeted with a couple of, well, not balls that he'd like to see. This one going to sail up and away. Caden Hort singles in each of his first 2 at-bats and has been retired in each of the last 2. A strikeout looking, a fly out to center. And that one looked pretty dang good, but doesn't sell the call, so it's 2-0. Outlaws just one more trip here to Veterans Memorial Park this year. Haven't won here since June 5th of 2022. And as we talked about earlier in the broadcast, haven't beat Mohawk Valley since June 11th of 2022. They beat the DiamondDawgs twice in the same week beginning that season and have not beat them since. Bartlett turns around and now deals. Misses off his target. Counts to 3-1. Calibretti's at second. JP Kuzak is at first for Mohawk Valley. One away. Bottom 8. And Mohawk Valley still on top of this one, 8-0. Bartlett turning around. And Kuzak at first does represent the run to end this thing if both of these runs can score for Mohawk Valley as well. But again, of course, you want to get back up. Top 9, top of the lineup would be coming up. 3-1. That one shot straight backwards. And the count runs full. Outlaws pitcher struggling in this game to find that put down with 2 strikes. Bartlett turning around, looking both first and second. And now the pitch. Still is high ball 4. So bases will be loaded for the DiamondDawgs. Calibretti goes to third. Kuzik is at second. And Caden Hart is at first. John Ramsey will come up, and he's been real good tonight for the Dawgs. Had a bases loaded walk in the first, drove in a run, struck out swinging in the third, and then has walked in the 5th and 7th, scored both times. And now he shoots one out towards center field. Dane Richards, a few steps in front of the signs, makes the grab and guns the throw to the plate. Won't be in time as the run does indeed score. So John Ramsey with a sacrifice to center field picks up his second RBI of the game, and Mohawk Valley a 9-0 lead. Runners stay put at first and second. And Ian Olslager, last chance to try to end this one in 8 for the Dawgs, with still runners at first and second. Outlaws in danger of being shut out here in Little Falls, unless they can find some way to muster some runs in the top of the 9th. This one turned and put over the screen, back out towards the parking lot. And the count quickly 0-1. Back-to-back Watts in the last 2 plate trips for Olschlager, as the Watts have really killed the Outlaw pitching staff in this one. 2 runs scored, also a 3 unassisted ground out and a fly out to Dane Richards in center earlier in the game for Olschlager, represent his 4 at-bats. It's a strike right down the pike, and Bartlett now needs just 1 more to get out of the inning. Kuzitz at second, Hart's at first, 2 away. And Bartlett fires. Skyrocketed up past the deck behind home, and so give another go at it. Oh-2. Big swing and a miss. And Olschlager's retired, and finally the half inning comes to a close. It'll be 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on. And we hit the top of the 9th here in Little Falls. It is a 9-0 Mohawk Valley score.
Gates open at 4. And first pitch is at 5 o'clock. Coming to cheer on your Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs.
Top of the ninth here in Little Falls. Last chance for the Outlaws. Top of the lineup is Brendan Connolly going to start things off. Gets the new DiamondDawgs arm, Walter Garrett. Garrett stayed 6'5", 215 from Houston, Texas. And the Trinity College product going to bomb one up and away. And Connolly works ahead 1-0. Connolly continued his streak of being on base at least once in every game that he's played this summer for the Outlaws. Now he's on base streak at 11 games. Is the count 2-0. He had a single earlier on, one of just 4 hits the Outlaws have mustered up in this one. Garrett steps back and fires 2-0. And that one comes back in the zone, called strike, and it's 2-1. Connolly puts it on the ground, right side, charging it. Ramsey turns and pumps it over just in time to Justin Erd to beat the speedy Brendan Connolly. And so, one down here quickly for Oneonta.
Jack Clark.
Jack Clark will come up. And we've talked about it a couple of times, but yesterday, a great outing up in Utica, both games all around the field and the plate, really showing things off. Now tonight he struggled a little bit, only 1 hit, 3 tries, but can't take anything away. One of just 4 hits. DiamondDawgs pitching has really been on lockdown tonight. Her ERA sitting at 5th in the league right now, and numbers are going to drop if can end up holding off the Outlaws and finish with that goose egg on the board here tonight. One, and Clark takes a high one. Counts 2-1. And there's a called strike, and the count rolls 2-2. On turn and shot straight backwards. So we'll give another go at it with 1 out. Clark turns, clears this one over the seats on the first base line. Another one off foul. So Clark keeps going at it. Two, and Clark straight back to the screen yet again as he's continuing to fight, working along at bat here. Walter Garrett steps and fires. And Clark over towards first base. The glove of Hurd rolls into right. Clark chugging around first. He's headed for second. Send sign is on. He's coming to third. And Jack Clark now 90 feet away from scoring.
Now batting for the Outlaws, the extra hitter.
So that is going to be the second triple in as many days for Jack Clark. And could be the chance to break things up and make sure the shutout doesn't get issued here on the Mohawk Valley side tonight. Bose is 0 for 3, and he'll be looking for a knot to get a run up on the board. Outlaws and DiamondDawgs going to turn around and meet up again later this week on Wednesday. Outlaws sandwiched in between, going to have a trip on tap to Glens Falls tomorrow. And we'll be live here on YouTube, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first pitch from East Field. Hopefully it won't be as eventful as our last trip to Glens Falls on Saturday. As Bose takes low one for ball one. DiamondDawgs host Boonville tomorrow. Suspended game, middle of the second. They were trailing 2-0. They'll finish that one. Is this one on the ground? Ramsey turns, fires to first. Bose gets the sack RBI as Clark has scored. And so, 6-3 ground out. And it's a 9-1 ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Base paths are empty. And Jace Kohler will swing the bat, try to keep this game going. Outlaws, you at least got to take the positive where you can get them and at least pot one home here in the ninth. Kohler takes one for a called strike. A southpaw with his 0-1, and Kohler watches it low. 1-1. Garrett again with the pitch. And that one an elevated strike, and it's 1-2, and just like that, the Outlaws are down to their last strike here in Little Falls. Mohawk Valley is won or tied with the Outlaws in 19 consecutive games, trying to make it 20. 1-2, and won't be that pitch. Two balls, two strikes, 2 outs, top 9. Garrett's offering. Straight back to the screen. Jace Kohler with one of the 5 Outlaw hits in this ball game. Top of the lineup, top 3 that is, have accounted for 4 of the 5. 2-2. Another one fouled off. That drops in the seats on the first base side. So Kohler's now worked through 6. So Kohler continuing to try to fight. Stay alive. 2-2. On the ground towards third, scooped up. Jones turns, bullets it across the diamond in time, and that's ball game. Mohawk Valley continuing to dominate the Outlaws, and, well, this Outlaw team is going to try to get back in the win column tomorrow when they go to Glens Falls. We'll get this wrapped up here for you. It's going to be a... Not that one. Not out of town scores, but let's see. Final score. Turn and try to drag this up here. This is where I need a mouse, but it's okay. It's okay. There we go. 9-1's your final score. Mohawk Valley, 9 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. The Outlaws, 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. As we've said, Oneonta going to go to 3-12. Mohawk Valley goes to 9-6, and the curse of the DiamondDawgs continues over the Outlaws. Oneonta back to it tomorrow at Glens Falls, 7 o'clock. We'll be live here on YouTube, 6:45. Mohawk Valley hosts Boonville. They're playing 2, finishing their suspended game first, starting at 5, right back here at Veterans Memorial Park. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight one last time. Your final score, 9-1 DiamondDawgs. We'll catch you tomorrow, and as always, roll Laws.